Well, hi, hello, and welcome everyone to another one of my videos. I have been asked by multiple people this year already whether or not I think it is worth it to go to Kings Island this year. Some people are worried about getting sick up there due to COVID-19. Some people were wondering how it is like to wear a mask all day out in the hot sun. Other people are just mad that Kings Island's having restrictions. Other people are wondering about how the lines will be with reduced capacity. I hope to answer all those questions with this video and give you a good idea whether or not it'll be worth it for you to go up to Kings Island this year. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is, of course, you have to have a reservation in order to show up today. Even if you have a season pass, you still need a reservation. I made a video previously on how to make those reservations, and I will include the link to that video in the description of this video. The reservations are tied to your passes or your day tickets. So if you show up like an hour early, they'll let you, once you get to the front gate, when try and scan your pass, they won't let you in. I have been told if you show up a half an hour early, they'll let you in, but I haven't checked that out for myself. So I would still suggest whatever time your reservation is, wait until it's that time to actually stand into the park and enter the park. If you happen to show up late, you can still get in. They won't kick you out if you show up like an hour late. In fact, they might actually prefer that based on social distancing to try and keep too many people from entering the park at one time. I'm proud of Snoopy. Look at how low he's social distancing right now.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Kings Island is also enforcing social distancing on rides, and as you just saw, Snoopy's also following social distancing. Right there, most rides, it depends on the ride, but like the Beast, it was every other row. Adventure Express, it was every other row. The Eiffel Tower, they're only letting one party go up on each elevator, so the line for the Eiffel Tower is a while. Orion, they are having two people on each four-person row, as well as, I believe, Diamondbacks like that, as is Banshee. That can make the lines longer than they would otherwise be, so keep that in mind. In addition to the social distancing, you will have to fill out an online questionnaire within 24 hours of showing up to the park. In addition to that, you will also be asked the same questions when you actually get to the park, and it's basically, have you been exposed to someone who's been COVID-19? Are you feeling sick? Have you felt sick, or anyone in your family been sick in the last week or two? You will also have your temperature checked on your way in, and if you have a fever, you will not be allowed to go in. This is in addition to their usual security checks that they do for people who have to walk their metal detector afterwards. And of course, for some people, the most controversial thing that Kings Island is doing this year is the requirement of wearing masks. And now this has been awfully controversial. Some people have spelled out petitions against this. Some people are talking about a boycott of Kings Island because of this. The way I see it, it's a private business. They can do whatever they want as long as it's not discriminating against people due to race, religion, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation. Beyond that, I mean, they can have any rules that they want, and this is just the rule that they have. It's probably the only reason why we are allowed to be open. Kings Island's allowed to be open. It's also for those people who are sick, who are high risk. They probably appreciate that because that might give them a better chance to ride. In addition to the mask, which, if you're wondering, I did not think it was too bad wearing a mask, even though the day I was there it was in the 90s and humid. It was doable, and they also had various areas where you could have mask relaxation zones where you could take off the mask. So that was a good thing to know. They also can see through here from the line of the Beast. They would every half hour wipe down and disinfect each of the trains. In addition to that, they would occasionally have workers going through the lines and disinfecting the bars and the lines. They also had hand sanitizers located throughout the park. You can look on the app for just how many they have. And if you're wondering, if you're hoping you could just wear a mask and walk in and then not wear it at all, they are enforcing it. While most people I saw were wearing the mask, the ones who weren't were asked by employees to put the mask on and or wear it correctly, since some people weren't. Now, due to the increased wiping down of the rides, as well as the lower capacity, The lines for all the rides were longer waits than they would be otherwise based on the crowd, so that's something to keep in mind. The park does have lower capacity, but there are longer waits. At one point when I was there, I think Diamondback had like the 2.5 hour line. Orion, which is of course our newest ride, they had a ticketing system where you had to go to the entrance, get a ticket, and come back to it later in the day based on the time the ticket was. Although the last hour of the day, I've heard you do not need the tickets for it. But that is due to the first day that was open, they had like a 5 or 6 hour long line for Orion, which is not very conducive for social distancing. Nor from Kings Island's perspective is it good, because that means people won't be waiting in line. They won't be wanting to buy food or merchandising or drinks from Kings Island. And now, of course, we are getting to the point where it's time for me to answer the big question, whether or not I think Kings Island is worth it in 2020. For me, when I was there, I had fun, and I do have a season pass, though, and I live relatively close to it. So I can go up there, and even if I just ride one ride, I'd be happy. Like this day when we were there, my whole point was to ride Orion at least once. I did that, so I was happy. We were only up there for a few hours, and then we had to leave. But as far as you, that if it's worth it for you, that depends. If you're a roller coaster enthusiast who is dying to go on Orion, then it's definitely worth it. If you're someone who doesn't do well in heat, it may not be worth it for you. If you're someone who's dead set against wearing a mask for whatever reason, then you'll probably want to stay away. If you're someone who is high risk from COVID-19, probably would be a good idea to stay away as well. Would I travel to go to Kings Island this year? Me personally, I probably would not want to travel to Kings Island unless I was a huge roller coaster enthusiast. Having said that, if I had an opportunity to go to Disney World right now, it'd be hard for me to say no to that. So I can't tell you to say no to that. It's also, I don't know how I feel about buying a day ticket, but it's also, if we're in the area, it's not, and have a reservation, I think it's still doable. It's just with the park only being 8 hours open each day, that makes it harder to spend a full day there and get all the rides in with the reduced capacities. Am I going to be going back up there this year? Yes, I plan on going back up there a lot personally, but I do have a season pass, so that helps. By doing this video, I hope to give you the information for you to decide for yourself whether or not you should go up to Kings Island. There are definitely pros and cons of going up for each. Let us know in the comments how you feel about going up there this year and whether or not you're going to go up there. In addition to that, if you ring the notification bell, you'll be able to keep up to date on all of our videos, as we'll be posting a lot of Kings Island videos, and give us a big thumbs up as well, because that makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside.